A lot of arguments and problems in romantic relationships could be resolved or even entirely avoided by understanding polarity. The law of polarity is the principle that everything and everyone has two poles, good and bad, light and dark, birth and death, masculine and feminine, yin and yang, attraction and disconnection. This is one of the key ingredients to successful relationships, as the strongest chemistry exists when one person in the couple is holding a really strong masculine energy and the other person is holding a really strong feminine energy. And the more opposed these energies are in the people, they'll act like a magnet, drawing each other together, increasing attraction, just like two magnets. If you think of the positive poles and the negative poles of a magnet, you cannot put the positive poles with positive poles, they will be repelled. But if you turn it around and you put the negative with the positive, your magnet will be so strongly attracted. When this happens, two partners of opposite poles are magnetized towards each other. This is how attraction occurs, because they complement each other. Rather than trying to be the same, they're opposite, which is complementary. Just like when you look at the breath, you can't just inhale and keep inhaling and keep inhaling. Eventually, you have to exhale so that you can inhale again. Problems in romantic relationships arise when one or both people are not embodying the preferred pole and the energies that are most aligned with your original essence. I'm a naturally feminine woman, but growing up with a single mom and being the eldest sibling, I began to take on the role of being the dominant masculine energy in my family. Because I didn't have my father around, I didn't have a strong masculine presence, I ended up stepping into that and taking that on with it myself. I became extremely independent, motivated, ambitious, and like a lot of very ambitious and high-achieving women who are really goal-focused, goal-oriented, and driven to accomplish things, I developed this strong masculine energy, and it was at the cost of my feminine energy. Before I understood about polarity, I was constantly depolarizing my relationships by being hyper-independent and not needing anything from my partner. And because I was so used to being an ambitious and extremely focused person, so when he would slip into the more yin or feminine energies, and the result is that neither of us would actually feel good about it. As a heterosexual woman who prefers to be more in my feminine and yin energy in partnership, my partner would naturally move into a more yin role to complement me. I would balance the scales by being more in my yang and masculine energy. This sort of balancing act is completely natural, but it gets a little bit tricky. I am sexually and romantically drawn almost exclusively to very strong yang energy, very strong masculine energy. So you can imagine what my early relationships were like when the strong attraction that existed in the beginning of the relationship would either fizzle out or we would start arguing about things, neither of us feeling heard or understood. Here are some of the qualities of yin energy, which include creativity, intuition, submission, emotionality, softness, and of course, femininity. And the qualities of yang energy include logical thinking, analytical thinking, rigidity, stability, expansion. These energies are not based on gender, as any person can identify with being more masculine or feminine, and we all have both energies within us. But one of these energies will, for most people, feel more comfortable and more natural. When you see a relationship where there's no passion, no intimacy, no attraction anymore, and where the arguments seem to be constant and never ending, it's probably due to a lack of polarity. The outcome can look like anger, frustration, depression, emasculation on the man's side, and a woman feeling like she has to do everything but doesn't have any support, safety, or clarity from her partner. It can also look like a lack of connection, sexual and physical, and eventually complete alienation of affection and attention. Again, back to the magnets, this happens when two partners become too similar in energy and there isn't enough complementary energy, there isn't enough polarity to create the attraction. And then when you're too much of the same energy, you begin to repel each other. You'll either repel each other or fight because your needs aren't being met. I have a client who has many very successful businesses and he's a very prominent leader in his community. However, at home, things weren't really going great with his marriage. There weren't any serious problems, but there was that lack of chemistry. The relationship wasn't really evolving. I helped him see the difference of his energy when he would be working on one of his businesses or he'd be out in the world compared to what his energy felt like when he would be at home. And he started to see that he was going more into his feminine energy. He was going more into his emotional energy, passivity, and not really taking responsibility and feeling strong and proud about what he was doing at home. He described himself as the one who was always more emotional. He said, she doesn't ever ask for anything, so I don't really know what to provide. This felt emasculating to him. There were many layers to this, including how each of them were relating to their extended family. I'm not going to get into all of the details, but he found that the more yin he became, the more yang she became. And the more masculine and yang and stoic and independent she became, the more into his feminine energy he would go, and he felt helpless. And to balance it out, the more feminine and yin he would become, she would go more into her yang energy, her masculine energy. And you can see where this is going. With polarity out of balance, they were experiencing more frequent arguments, misunderstandings, nagging, and eventually a break in sexual intimacy. This happens when both of you have taken the feminine role, both of you have taken the masculine role, or when you have flipped roles completely and you're not in the dominant pole that feels most natural and preferred to your unique essence. It can happen in same-sex relationships and in opposite-sex relationships. The good news here is that it only takes one person to become aware of what's going on and then to intentionally decide to embody the pole that feels right to you. Now, it might not be your default or your most practiced. However, when you feel into what pole that you prefer to embody, for example, with myself, when I really felt into the fact that I could get shit done, I was ambitious, I was like, I don't need anybody, I can figure anything out. But when I really felt into it, that isn't how I really wanted to live. That's not what felt nourishing to me. And actually, I had like really dry skin and I felt really tense in my body, really tight in my body. I didn't feel relaxed and open and creative, and I didn't feel connected to my emotions. Those things were so underdeveloped in me that I would default to the more masculine qualities. However, anytime I did spend connecting to my feminine essence and to my body and my emotions, it felt so deeply nourishing. So it might not be your default practice mode of operating, but when you think about what actually feels most nourishing for you, what makes you feel the best, and then you consciously choose to embody that pole, you can influence your partner and improve your relationship. And this is why you want to understand, why do you become depolarized in the first place? What is going on? What is the issue at hand that causes you to do that? Which is often, like I was sharing before, some form or way to protect yourself. Now, maybe you're wondering, do I have to just be, soft and feminine and totally passive now all of the time? No, not at all. We have both of these energies inside of us. And the ultimate move is to integrate both of these qualities within you so that you can use them consciously and intentionally at will. For example, I love both of these aspects about myself. And it's really important that When I want to sit down and prepare for a workshop, I need to organize information, I need to be focused, I need to set deadlines and have structure and create materials and facilitate the workshop, and all of these masculine directive qualities that I absolutely love that I can tap into. So if I'm all like gooey and soft and in my emotions and in flow and being creative and not really caring what time it is, well, I don't know if that would make me a very good workshop facilitator. In my day-to-day life, I actually really, really value and love being in that flow state. And so I have to actually intentionally decide when I sit down to work on something, I will visualize. I have this whole process I go through to drop into those yang qualities. And I have another video coming up about how you can tap into your masculine energy, how you can tap into your feminine energy at will, different practices and different ways to embody the energy that is most useful for whatever you're doing. It's really important to be able to shift at will. So if I've been working all day and focused and in my yang energy, and I want to relax after work, maybe I want to go on a date, then I want to be able to get into my feminine energy, which is where I feel most comfortable and most like myself. So I really want to highlight that the ultimate expression here is to be able to integrate both of these energies within you. Let's say, for example, you are an extremely feminine woman, but have absolutely no capacity for expressing the yang qualities. This can quickly become very limiting and disempowering. So you want to be able to integrate both qualities. If you are dominantly expressing your feminine energy and you're wondering, hey, is that me? You might want to look at your relationship to boundaries, discernment, and how you say no. I have so much to say on this topic. And the next video I'm going to create is the practical things that you can do to shift from your masculine to your feminine energy and how to feel more empowered and more connected to yourself and your relationships. So be sure to hit the bell button if you'd like to be notified when I post that video. And if you're interested in diving deeper into understanding yourself, your natural energies, and how you express them in relationships, especially when it comes to sexuality and attraction, then I invite you to come check out Orgasmic Existence. This is a 2-hour workshop where you'll release old stories, limiting beliefs, and cultural conditioning, and replace it with greater intimacy, pleasure, freedom, and self-awareness of who you are and what you actually want as an exquisitely liberated sexual being. This is absolutely essential to being able to embody the polarity that is most aligned with your unique essence. You will learn how to create greater intimacy, sex, and affection, increase your pleasure and fulfillment, lower your stress and anxiety, and learn how to ask for what you want. Everyone is welcome, whether you're single in a relationship or a situationship. Come and join us to discover your orgasmic existence, because the world needs more people who are turned on by their life. So come check it out. Come to thelivingnarrative.com or click the link in the description below. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Here are a couple more videos that you might be interested in checking out. Thanks for tuning in. See you in the next video.